Hey guys, Donnie B here from Learn Pro Recording. Just want to reach out personally and thank you all for being a part of it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Hopefully you're getting something out of it. Please let us know in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube if this is something that you want to see or something that we can help you with. If there's anything personally that you need help with, you just reach out. Let us know. Email, call. We can set up a personal Zoom call, a coaching call, whatever it is that you might need help with. So please, we're here for you. So just let us know. Today we're going to talk about some really cool stuff that may, you know, it's the thing inside Pro Tools that nobody really wants to talk about. So hopefully we're going to help you out. We're going to straighten out some stuff and get you going. Okay, so let's get going. Here we go. Okay, everybody, today we're going to talk about Learn Pro Recording's 5-minute Pro Tools tip. This one's probably going to take a few more than 5 minutes though, so let's be prepared for that. We're going to make Pro Tools your own by adjusting your preferences. All right, plus I'm going to give you 6 things that you should always change every time you reload your preferences. We'll talk about that in a minute too. It's like, that would be like uninstalling the program and reinstalling the program Pro Tools, but you don't really have to do that. I'm going to show you a trick on that one too, so at the end of the thing. So get ready for that. Okay, so here we go. So here's how you get to your preferences. You go to Setup and Preferences and click Preferences. I think also you can get to it from hitting the Pro Tools menu, and Preferences is in there as well. Like everything else in Pro Tools, there's 3 ways to do everything, so there you go. Anyway, the first thing we're going to look at, the first tab we're going to look at is all about what Pro Tools looks like on your screen. It's called the Display tab. All right, you can leave track numbers hidden with hidden tracks. I personally don't do that. I don't really care. I'm going to run through these real quick, by the way. We don't really need to spend a bunch of time on all this stuff. It's just, you know, these are things that you should do and things you should change and things that you shouldn't change. I'm going to try to, along the way, explain what things are and what they do, okay? Tool tips, man, just leave those on. That's like when you hover over something in your Pro Tools session and it tells you what it is. Okay, just leave those on. There's no reason, you know, unless you don't like them, turn them off. It doesn't matter. I personally just leave mine on. Now this one's cool. This one's the one that you should change. This is one of the ones you should change. I organize my plugins by category and manufacturer. That way when you go open your list of inserts, it shows you the types like EQ, compression, reverbs, whatever. And then it also down at the bottom, it separates them out all per the manufacturer. So if you know that you're looking for a waves reverb, it's in the waves department. So there you go. Just do that. All right, you can change the language if you want. You can also, this one's new. This one's fairly new for us old guys that have been on Pro Tools for a long time. You can change the GUI. This is how it looks. There's a classic mode, which is everybody's normally used to, the brighter colors. And then there's a dark mode, which is, I don't know, I'm still kind of getting used to it. I'm not really into it yet. I know they just did an update that allows you to adjust things even further inside the dark mode, which was a complaint because you basically couldn't see the track names. It was too dark. Okay, so the color codings, I honestly, everyone, I do not change these. I leave them default. I don't really, it doesn't matter. If you want to get like super, you know, make it super your own, you can change these however you like, whatever. So you can play around with it if you like. You don't really have to. All right, so the next tab we're going to go to is the operation tab. This is basically how Pro Tools works for you. I don't adjust these here. These are things you can adjust inside of Pro Tools with key commands. Okay, so I do sometimes I have to adjust those, but that's fine. Transport, I do make sure mine is on. This is one of the other things that you should change and make sure that it's on this. I make sure my numeric keyboard is on as a transport. It just makes it easier and faster for me. That's the way that's my workflow. If you guys have a different workflow, don't worry about it. Change it however you like it. It's okay. Auto backup. Ooh, yeah, make sure this is clicked. This is another thing you should make sure it's turned on. Make sure it's enabled, okay? The default is this. It's 10 most recent sessions every 5 minutes. I find that's good enough for me. Pro Tools is going to crash on you, and this is a safety backup. So when it does crash and you've not been saving, this will basically save your job possibly with a client. Okay, so you can make it 99 most recent backups every 1 minute if you're super anal about losing things, or if Pro Tools is really not as stable as you wish it would be, which some of us do. User media and setting location. I don't change these. I don't want to make Pro Tools do any extra work by going to find stuff that I put somewhere else. So I just leave these alone. I leave these as a default because this is what Pro Tools is used to. I don't want to confuse Pro Tools any more than it already is, okay? This one is fairly new and kind of cool. You can set it up so when you hit, it's kind of like the solo cancel or latch. You can set this up to where when you record enable one track, it unrecords another one. Let's say you've got a track way down. Let's say you got a really big session and you got one track that's really far down in the session. You can't see it and it is record enabled. And then you record and enable another track at the top and you don't realize it, but you're actually recording on 2 tracks at the same time. You can turn that off and make it where it cancels, which it comes in handy sometimes, especially if you're, you know, if you're like me and you're dealing with large sessions and you don't want to go scroll down to the bottom and that kind of thing. Auto playlist when loop recording. This is an awesome feature. You guys should turn this on. It defaults to being off. When you're working in loop recording, what this does is every time it loops back around, it creates a new playlist. So you could go back and comp from there. Let's say that you're the singer and you're also your engineer, your own engineer. So you have to set Pro Tools up to record and then run in the booth and sing. And then you sing it 4, 5, 6 times and you come back and then you've got 5 or 6 different playlists that you can choose from and do your comps. That's an awesome feature. You should make sure that's turned on, okay? Again, I don't adjust these, I don't adjust these, and I don't adjust these. I let Pro Tools just do where it's going to go, okay? I let Pro Tools do the thing it wants to do because I don't want it to have to think too much, okay? Here's the editing tab. Again, some of these things, I don't adjust these here. I can do this inside of the editor, the edit page. So I just use quick keys to do that. I don't change any of these, but apparently you can, and if you want, you can, if these are part of your workflow, let's say you're working mostly in MIDI, you want new tracks, you want to default to tick-based, that's fine. I personally don't use these. I'm not a MIDI guy. I don't produce in Pro Tools. I just edit and mix and record in Pro Tools. Memory locations, I don't change these. I just leave that defaulted. Fades, look, if you guys want to make Pro Tools, you want to create like super fades. Every time you make a fade in or fade out, you want it to be a certain type of fade or a certain curve of fade. You can do that here. I don't. If I want to do it that way, I'll do it inside the window. It makes more sense to me. So just make sure that that's always turned on as well. It just makes life really easy when you are editing and creating fades. It goes a lot quicker. It just makes your workflow a lot faster. Zoom toggles, again, I don't change any of these. I just leave them the same. I do make sure this is turned on and is at 64 levels of undo. I don't know why anybody would want less than that. I mean, you're only going to make 3 mistakes. Go ahead and change it to 3, but I don't. I leave mine on the max just in case I do have to go further back. Okay, so this is the mixing tab. It helps. This is just going to help your workflow go a little bit better. These are the setup basics. I don't change these. These are things I can change on the fly. Like when I'm working, there's key commands that can do that. So I don't change those. I leave those right where they are. This is just a helpful feature to help your workflow go a little bit faster. You can pick a default EQ and a default dynamics. It shows up at the top of your list whenever you go to do an insert. It just shows up at the top. As you can see, mine are normal, just the regular ones that come with Pro Tools. I don't change any of these in the automation stuff here. In automation, I can change it inside my window when I need it. If I need to change it, I can change it with a key command. Time mode, I don't change this. I normally work in audio, so I'm leaving things in samples. I'm not going tick-based. Again, I don't produce in Pro Tools. Controllers, I don't use controllers. I don't like controllers. That's just me personally. I'm sure that there's an argument out there about that. I'm not going to get into that. I just don't like it, so I don't deal with any of the controller stuff. But if you guys do have a controller and you want to change stuff, here's where you do it. Okay? Automation mode selector. I really never change this, but if you need to, you can. Basically, after right pass, you can make it switch to something else, and I just don't do that. It just, for me, it's faster just to do it the other way. I honestly, if you guys know who I am, and you guys that know me, I don't really use a lot of automation anyway. So, this is new, and thank you, Avid, because we've been complaining about this for, I don't know, forever. When we sidechained, you weren't compensating for the delay, man. And how simple was it? You know what I mean? It's about time, Avid. Get it? About time. All right, moving on. Dad jokes. We'll leave those for another time. Well, let's make a podcast about that. We'll just do that. All right, this is the mixing tab. Helps your workflow faster. You can change your meter types. I don't. That's the default. I like it that way. This is another one of those things that you should change. This is the peak hold. That's the default. The default on the other one, which is the clip indication, is infinite. That means that you have to stop what you're doing and go clear that clip. So if you want to see a clip again, I changed mine to 3 seconds. So I see the clip for 3 seconds, and then it goes away. So I can see that so I can make adjustments. And then if it clips again, then I know I need to make more adjustments. I don't want to have to go clear clips and then go make adjustments. I just want my workflow to be faster. That's all. All right. Advanced meter types, this is the default. I don't change those. You can change these if you need to see color breaks at -18 instead of -20. You can do that depending on if you're working in post-production or if you're working in music. It doesn't matter. I just if we do work in post-production, I use a different meter anyway. I don't use the Pro Tools meters. Display meters, I don't change any of this. This is the default. I do like to see the compressor limiter on the mixer page. I can see that it is working. Other than that, I don't change any of those things. Anyway, moving on. This is the processing tab. This helps Pro Tools be easier for you. Okay. The default handle length. I find that 2 seconds is plenty. If you guys don't know what a handle is, that's that's if you render a file, it will add a second on each end of that file so you can pull it out or have something to crossfade into. If you don't have any handle length, it's just going to be the file itself, and then you'll have nothing to crossfade to. So I just leave it at the default, which is 2 seconds. I mean, I find that's enough. But if you need a little more, you can add more. If you think you need less, you could turn it to less. When you import various files, these are different things that you can change to import different files to different things. This is another one of those things that I always change, the rendered file depth. If you're working on an older system that doesn't work well with the 32-bit floating, the default on this is always use 32-bit. I change it to follow session settings, because if I'm working in a 24-bit session and I render a file, I don't want that rendered file to be a different bit depth than my session. It could create some digital errors or alias frequencies or something, so I just don't deal with it. I don't change this. The time compression expansion, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a future 5-minute video thing, 5-minute Pro Tools tip thing, but I don't change this. This is the factory default. I find that works fine if I do need to use the TCE tool. Elastic audio, I defaulted. That's the default. I just work it with it that way. If I do have to change it, I change it to whatever it is I need to while I'm in Pro Tools, so it doesn't matter. Heat, I honestly work on a Ultimate system. This system I'm on today is a regular system, and we do have heat. I have never actually used it, so I don't know what it does or how it does what it does. And let's just talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. We can now have Ceremony, the people that made ARA. Okay, these are the people that made that. And now, ARA is short for Audio Random Access. What this means in a nutshell is that as you track things in Melodyne or as you track things in Auto-Tune, in graphic mode in Auto-Tune, when you move things around in Auto-Tune or in Melodyne, it will also move in Pro Tools. They're connected, which that information was created by Ceremony, the people that make Melodyne, and they just now gave it to us to be able to work in Pro Tools in this latest update. This is the latest update. I think it's 2021.6.3 or some crap. Whatever. We just got this. And Melodyne, Ceremony Melodyne are the people that created this and this whole thing and how it works. So thank you, Avid, for finally stepping up and giving us that like everybody else has had for 42 years. Okay, I leave this at default. I don't change this. It doesn't matter. That's just parallel task optimizations. Yeah, that's like math stuff. I don't really care. How's it sound? This is the Midi tab. You can adjust your workflow in Midi. I don't change any of this. Like I said, I'm not a producer in Pro Tools. We use other tools to produce when we have to make music. I don't change any of this. You can if you want. It's there. It's available if you want to try, if you need to change that. The collab feature. These are cool if you're working with another artist or working with another producer and you're in one location, they're in another location, and you guys need to collab. Basically what happens is it saves the session on a cloud, and as you do work, it changes. When you save it, it goes to the cloud, and then the other guy can see it, the other person can see it when he pulls it down from the cloud. These are just things that you can change and make that even better for you. Honestly, the amount of cloud storage that comes with Pro Tools as a default is not enough to work even on one song, so you're going to end up buying more cloud storage anyway. This is where you can change that, and this is where you can change that and make it work a different way for you. Okay, so there you go. That would be the sync tab. If you are working in post-production, you might know what these things are. Machine control is basically you're going to let Pro Tools run your machine. Like if you're connected to a video deck or something, which is kind of, I don't know anybody that's really doing that anymore. You know, with technology the way it is, it's all streaming to hard drives now, so we're not really using machines anymore like we used to. But anyway, you can adjust things there for that, okay? And there's a sync delay that you can adjust if you're working in post-production and you've got a little delay between the video and the audio and what's coming into Pro Tools. You can adjust that here if you need to. But anyway, that's pretty much it. So sometimes Pro Tools get stuck, or sometimes your Pro Tools might get a little bit out of hand and you have to feel like you have to uninstall the program and reinstall the program. This is pretty much the same thing. You basically dump your preferences, or you trash your preferences, which are these things that we all just set up on all these things. Okay, you basically dump them and start over, and it's just like starting the program all over again. Sorry, PC guys, right now this program is only Mac. Peter Gates is the guy that developed this. You can find him on gearsluts.com. He's a great guy. I mean, he's making products that are helping us, and he's giving them away. All he asks for is basically a donation. So you can go to petegates.com and download the apps that he has. This thing is amazing. You don't have to go through your whole library to find the files and the folders that you need to delete in order to make this happen. This does it all at one time. I do this probably once a week in our studio on we've got 3 systems here in the studio, and on one of the systems I'm going to do this once a week because things get out of hand. And look, we're a commercial studio, so a lot of people come in here and they change the preferences so that Pro Tools works the way that they want it to, and that may change things how I work. It may change things how other people's works. So what we'll do is, instead of just trying to figure out what they changed, we'll dump prefs and then change the 6 things back that I normally change, which I talked about in this whole thing, and then it's like starting over. So we do this probably once a week in this whole thing. So anyway, that's pretty much it, man. If you guys have questions or you got comments or anything, please, if you're watching this on YouTube, please comment below, like this video. There's going to be plenty more of these coming out. We're doing this pretty much once a week now. So if you guys want to be a part of it, you want to be, you want to get more involved, reach out. Email us, call us. We could set up like I said earlier, we could set up a Zoom call if you need to. If you're having a lot of trouble, more than willing to come over and basically through Zoom and help you with your personal setup. Okay, so I know things get a little bit weird because everybody's different. Everybody likes to work a little differently. But anyway, that's pretty much it. You can reach out to us at learnprorecording.com. See what we got going on over there. There's some courses. There's some we frequently do webinars. We do workshops, things like that. Plus all these little quick training videos that we'll try to help people out. We're just here to serve. We're here to help you. We're here to help you grow and become a better audio engineer and producer. So whatever we can do to help. Hey, appreciate you guys hanging out with me, and we are going to talk to you soon. We will see you. Be safe. Be happy. Thanks for hanging out with us.